And that leads us to the nightcap. Here we go. Sugar Bowl, the second of the semifinals, Washington and Texas. This is going to be a much different game than the first one, Michigan and Alabama. It's going to be a much more high-scoring game. This over 63.5. Again, that first one, 44.5. Texas is favored by 4, and I get it. I think that Texas has a lot of areas of this team that I think are better than Washington. Here's the problem. Washington has the number one passing offense in the country. And to be fair, it's not just like, we've seen great passing offenses that just like create big plays. This is a dynamic passing offense. It's a drop back passing offense. This is not born out of play action. This is not born out of tricks. This is a straight drop back style, win with space, great passing game, win with leverage, great players on the outside. Rome Odunze is an incredible player. I think second only in college football to Marvin Harrison Jr. I covered Marvin a lot. I think Rome is, I don't know if he's quite as good just because he's not quite as polished of a route runner, but boy, he checks off just about every single box. They've also got Jalen McMillan. He's back and healthy. You saw what a difference he made in that Pac-12 championship game against Oregon. This is a team that has had to deal with Oregon twice and deal with that Oregon physicality twice. And so all this talk about, well, Washington is a finesse team and they won't be able to handle the physical nature that Texas brings to the table at the line of scrimmage. I don't agree with that because of what Washington did against Oregon. So they've got the passing game. And now what you saw in some of those games, even against Oregon, is their ability to run the ball and control the clock. They held the ball in the first quarter of the Pac-12 championship game for 13 minutes. 13 minutes. Oregon ran 6 offensive plays in that first quarter. That's wild. That is wild. And if they can do that again, they'll win the game. Oregon had to play from behind in that game and could just not do it. Number one pass offense in the country, facing the biggest weakness that Texas has, which is their pass defense, their secondary. Without question, that's the biggest weakness on the entire Texas team. Now they're going to have to face the 95th ranked passing defense in the country is going to have to face Jalen McMillan, Rome Odunze, and Jalen Polk. Polk's had 600-yard games. Odunze has gone for 104 straight with 6 touchdowns in those 4. And McMillan, when healthy, looks like he could be a dominant player. He went 9 for 131 in that Pac-12 championship game. Someone's going to be open. Washington's going to score points. There's not a doubt in my mind. I do not believe, even with T'Vondre Sweat and that excellent run defense that Texas has, I just don't see a scenario in which Washington doesn't score a lot of points. I think that they get into the low 30s, maybe mid 30s in this game. And then it's going to be up to Texas and that offense. And now you look at this offense, and that's the other aspect of this game that I just think is a total, not even a wild card. I'm just excited to watch it. To watch Steve Sarkisian with a month and that offense, I think it could be special. I really do, because when this guy gets in a rhythm, it's unlike anything else. There's a few play callers out there. And by the way, Kalen DeBoer is one of those. I mean, these guys, I don't want to leave Kalen DeBoer out, but Sarkisian has this knack. Like when he gets it going, I think back to the game I called when they played against Alabama. Do you guys remember that first quarter? Do you remember how aggressive it was? I remember, even the first quarter against Alabama this year in a win. The last couple of games against Texas Tech late in the season this year, or against Oklahoma State, man, when this guy wants to put the pedal down, it's special, okay? And he has built something there that a lot of people, let's be honest, thought might never happen again at Texas. We always knew Texas should be better. It's always a question of, well, are they going to be back? Are they going to be back? Well, they're definitely back. This is a terrific team. And Sark is in a position where he can build a game plan to go out there and really attack early what is the weakness for Washington, which is their defense. Their defense is 93rd in total defense. They allow about 400 yards per game, and they're facing an offense that can absolutely go up and down the field. So there's no reason why Texas can't score in the low 30s or mid 30s. Now you're starting to see why that over-under is 63.5. Would it shock anybody if got a 38-35 game. Heck, 42-35, 42, 30. This screams points. It just screams points. And Texas's ability to attack with that passing game is going to be key, which is why I think, and I haven't gone back and looked at what they've done with the coin toss, if they've won the coin toss or not, but I believe that each of these coaches should take the ball. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to put your offense on the field? Each offense is terrific. Each quarterback is terrific. I look at Michael Penix and the year that he's had and the leverage with which he throws, and I am amazed in a lot of ways every time I get to watch him. I look at the way that Washington was able to run the ball against Oregon and keep Oregon off the field and keep Bo Nix on the sideline. Texas can't allow that to happen. You can't allow that to happen. You don't want to play from behind. So take the ball. I think both of these teams should put their offenses on the field the first chance that they possibly get. Big question for me will be how Texas is performing in the backfield. Obviously, Jonathan Brooks, that injury hurts Texas. Although C.J. Baxter, the youngster, Jaden Blue, they have picked up the slack since Brooks went down with that injury. There was 3 games left when he went down. Texas has run for 500 yards on the ground over the last 2 games. So their production is there. Now, what Brooks gave them is the versatility to be really dynamic in the passing game. It's not that those other guys can't do that, but we just haven't seen it to the extent that Brooks was able to give that element to that offense. I think Texas is going to play really well, but I think Washington is going to play really well. And in particular, the fact that they have been able to handle the physicality of Oregon. There's no doubt Texas is better at the line of scrimmage. Now, can Texas get to Michael Penix? I kind of have my doubts, to be honest with you. Texas's best quality on their defense is their ability to stop the run. And Washington, candidly, even though they ran the ball well against Oregon, if you take away their ability to run, they're going to be like, okay, well, we're going to throw it 50 times. And we can do that really well. And we can still protect the passer. This is not a team that exposes Penix to a lot of hits. They're one of the best pass protection teams in the country. And so Texas's ability to present some pressure on Penix and disrupt that passing game at all is paramount. Because if he stands back in the pocket with those 3 wide receivers against that secondary, Washington's going to win the game. All right? And I know Texas is favored by 4, but that's where I sit. I just don't believe that Texas is going to present the pressure necessary to slow down the offense. There's nothing in me that believes that Washington will get stopped trying to throw the football. This passing game is as good as I've seen in a long time. And I think Penix and Washington are going to beat Texas. Now, this is going to be high scoring. It's going to be a great game. What you generally see is Sark's teams start really hot and fast. And then what happens is that there's a lull in the game. And they can't have that against Washington because Washington remains very consistent. There's only 1 game this year that they really didn't play well offensively, and that was against Arizona State. But outside of that, we see a game with time now, with Penix out there, with those wide receivers out there, with their ability to protect the passer. There's just nothing about the Texas secondary that tells me that they're going to be able to stop that passing game of the Huskies. So in the Rose Bowl, I like Alabama in a great game and a close game, maybe low scoring. In the nightcap, I like Washington over Texas. I'm taking both underdogs in the college football playoff semifinals. I like those 2 teams. And honestly, I despise both of those picks the moment I made them, which is what makes this playoff so great. I don't think that there's an obvious pick in either of these games. That's where I'm going to land, and we'll see how it goes.
Thank you for watching the Joel Klatt Show YouTube channel. And if you liked this clip, make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel, and you can stay up to date on all of my college football coverage.